So, what if Apple decided to give its next iPhone as much specifications as your typical Android flagship? As yes, reports have the iPhone 17 Pro bringing a spec sheet that's more powerful than ever. I just got to spend some time with Apple's latest iPhone, and there's a lot to share. Amazon finally announces Alexa AI, but has chosen to go a unique route in making it more enticing than competitors. And yes, new reports on the Galaxy S25 Edge make it more enticing and a bit complicated. I'm Jaime Rivera, and nothing like ending the week with 4 topics to cover. This is Tech Briefing. The official news today begin with my quick first impressions of Apple's latest iPhone. This is the iPhone 16e, and I think it's a very interesting value proposition. It might be a bit misunderstood because the fact that Apple discontinued the iPhone SE doesn't mean this is its successor. If you think of it, in the past, your only way to get a more affordable iPhone was to buy an older one, but this phone changes that. It's pretty much a way to get a lot of the essentials of Apple's best iPhone 16, even if Apple hasn't really confirmed what the E stands for. Yes, it's not for everyone. Actually, if you look at their comparison tool online, it's really intended for anyone upgrading from an iPhone 12 or older. So if you're already drawing comparisons to generations after or refurbished iPhones, then just pick one of those. I've only had it for 24 hours, so I can only give you my initial thoughts. What I can tell you is that it's actually an interesting contrast to even the base iPhone 16. It's sharper on the corners, almost making it feel thicker, even if it's really not. It's actually a hair lighter. I do like the colors, with this matte black being my favorite given how stealthy it looks. The screen is pretty much as good as the iPhone 14, meaning the same Super Retina XDR. It is slightly dimmer than the iPhone 16, but still great in color reproduction. Now, what makes this phone really stand apart is that it's a way to get Apple's A18 chip for like $200 less, which also means Apple Intelligence, but most of all, it's Apple's new C1 modem. I can tell you that even with a single day of use, the battery almost feels as good as the Plus, which yes, is attributed to the efficiency of the modem, but also the larger power pack. And listen, I know, I do miss MagSafe as I do own a ton of accessories, but if removing the magnets is what enabled a larger battery on the same footprint, I'm all for it. And obviously, yes, the Fusion camera has pretty much all the capabilities of the primary on the 16, meaning the 2x optical crop adds functionality, but the sensor is slightly smaller, so expect more on its results and performance in my full review coming soon. I'm actually curious to know your initial thoughts in the comments, because so far, I'm actually liking a lot of it. In other official news, let's switch to Amazon, as we were wondering why it's taken so long for the king of voice assistants to join the AI race. The company has recently announced Alexa Plus, which is pretty much an AI-powered upgrade to its voice assistant designed to make smart speaker interaction smoother and more intuitive. So yeah, smarter grocery orders are included along with sending event invites, remembering your preferences, and all that is here. Thing is, you can do extra integrations with your smart home devices, and then there's the option to share documents, emails, and even handwritten notes for Alexa to reference later, along with reading your schedules, help you plan trips, etc. There is also a bit of AI-generated content, from artwork, music, to even stories, though yeah, that sounds like the kind of stuff that I'm really struggling with about AI. Now, what's most interesting is that as opposed to everyone else forcing you to buy hardware to take advantage of it, here you pretty much are fine with current generation Alexa speakers like the Echo Show 8 and beyond. Actually, if you're a Prime member, you won't even need to pay anything. It's rolling out to your devices next month as part of your Prime membership. Maybe its biggest selling point is that there are already a huge amount of devices out there, so for new users, the barrier of entry can be as cheap as a smart speaker. Obviously, if you're not a Prime member, the cost is $19.95 a month, almost giving you another reason to become one. You gotta hand it to the company for how much they continue to add value to Prime with more perks year over year. But I'm curious to know what you think about Alexa AI in the comments. Now let's switch to Samsung, as yes, I also asked myself when we're getting that Galaxy S25 Edge. It's been more than a month since the company teased it at Unpacked, and now new reports suggest it will officially launch on April 16th. According to sources in Korea, Samsung will reveal all the details in an online Unpacked event on that date, with the device becoming available for purchase sometime in May. This suggests that Samsung is taking a different approach to this model, possibly testing the market before committing to larger production numbers, because we're actually going to talk about that. In addition, we also finally get information on color options. We hear the Galaxy S25 Edge will come in black, silver, and blue at launch. The weird part, and again, according to numbers, it seems the company is only producing 40,000 units at first, pretty much treating this as a strategic product rather than a mass market device. This limited production run could be due to the Edge's unique design or Samsung's intention to gauge consumers before ramping up production. And yeah, it could also be due to pricing. See, reports claim that it is expected to be higher than the standard Galaxy S25, but still below than the $1,299 of the Galaxy S25 Ultra. So yeah, that's pretty much code for $1,000. And with two cameras, we really hope they are great. We've heard of ceramic materials being used in order to make it thin and rigid, but I'm curious to know if you would pick this over, say, a Galaxy Z Flip in the comments. The camera seriously better be great, because otherwise, why not just pick a Flip? And finally, for the most interesting news today, let's once again talk about iPhone 17. Reports continue to back the idea that Apple is planning some major changes with these devices, or at least with the Pro series and also the Air. More CAD renders have emerged, pretty much backing what we saw previously, though add a bit more details, where the camera hump on the Pro models extends to the other side of the phone, and where these design elements also make it to the iPhone Air, even if with only one camera, making us already wonder about spatial and cinematic video. Also, yeah, it seems the base model will retain the current design for another year, which was to be expected. But onto those subtle changes that haven't really been mentioned, with the iPhone 17 models bringing a smoother transition between the stepped approach that we currently have on the camera hump and the back cover, apparently made possible with some new glass and metal material process. This sort of explains the whole concave transition between the leaked images. But then another change to the Pro models, which is major, is that apparently Apple is finally making them more powerful, boosting the RAM to now 12 gigabytes in order to allow for possibly more AI capabilities. I mean, this is the first time we see iPhones launch with Android amounts of RAM, which is a big deal, as iPhones have been smoking Android phones in performance for years and with half the amount of RAM. Like, can you imagine if things were on par? So we wonder how else this would benefit the phone, as usually Apple attributes some of these changes to add extra functionality. Maybe the last question left is if all iPhones will launch in September, or if the Air will happen sooner, particularly with some new reports that even the E variant will now be a yearly launch around this time of year. In today's question, let us know, which of all these new iPhones would you consider most? Because obviously I'm a Pro user given my workload, but I'm curious to know just how much more powerful it'll be, though sure, I'm curious about the Air, particularly with what they plan to do with that extra camera bar. I'm curious to know what you would prefer in the comments. Friends, again, TechBriefing is a work in progress, and we're really close to launching its next phase within the next month or so your continuous support is highly appreciated. Please like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments, as you've seen me try to answer most, if not all of them. Tell your friends I've started a new channel, and also follow me on social media, which is also of huge support. TechBriefing alone is the work of 3 people right now, but there are more friends joining in the next phase, so we really hope you like what you see. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.